It's another exclusive edition of our Sports Night, live here on Joy Sports and Multi TV. My name is Kwame Ajman. Now, he plays for Sandefjord, a club in Norway, and is yearning to play for the senior national team, the Black Stars. Over the last couple of years, the Ghanaian defence has looked not more like it in games that we've played, whether friendly or competitive, and there's been calls for the net to be spread a lot wider to get a lot more players in the squad of the team. Well, he's earning for that call-up to represent the nation of his father. His mom is from Norway, but he wants to play for the Ghana national team. Is he good enough to play for the senior national team? Well, we're going to be having a discussion with Yao Amankwa after we come back from the short commercial break. We're back from the break, and I'm sure you're looking forward to the interview I'm going to be having with a young man who currently plies the street in Norway. He is of Ghanaian and Norwegian descent, and he's yearning to play for the senior national team, the Black Stars. Yao Amankwa is my guest on the show this evening. Yao, good to see you. You look more like someone who would pass for a movie star rather than a footballer.
No, I can assure you I'm a footballer. And I've been since I was a small boy, so that's my trade.
For my viewers who obviously are inquisitive and would want to know how come you ended up in Norway, tell us about your story. Who are you? Who are your parents?
My mom is Norwegian, so she's always been there. But my dad came to Bergen in Norway to study. And then he met my mom and then resulted in me a couple of years later.
You've been playing professional football for a while.
Yeah.
How did you get into the sport?
No, I just started playing with my friends when I was 5, 6 years old, and then started playing organized since I was 6 or 7. And then ever since I've been passionate about football and played professional since 2008.
And you recall how it all started with your first professional club?
Yeah, I went for a trial match and I did very well. And then I went for some more trainings and then they signed me up.
And which club was this? Your first professional club?
SK Brann in Bergen.
And from there, you played for a few clubs. I'm looking through your resume in here, and you've played for a few number of clubs before your current club of Sandefjord.
Yeah. So I played for SK Brann, and I went on a loan to a club up in the north of the Norway called Alta, and then I came back to Brann and had a great season. And then the season after, I left for Sandefjord.
For a lot of people in Ghana who've been following the Norwegian league, not too many clubs will readily come to mind, but you know, one team that consistently played in the Champions League, Rosenborg, is a club that a lot of Ghanaians are familiar with. Our own Anthony and then also played there in a while. You could add Valerenga and maybe Mulder if you like, but Sandefjord, it's not a club that would resonate in the ears of a lot of Ghanaians. How big is the club?
No, definitely not. It's a young club. Only started in '98, but it's a club with great ambitions and a great coach and I think a great team. So we're looking forward to this season.
How competitive is the club? Do you get to play alongside the big boys in the Norwegian TP-Ligaen?
We are they were demoted 2 years ago. Okay. So last year we played the qualifiers, but we were unlucky in the qualifying match for Tippeliga. So this year we're gunning for the top place and go straight up.
So you're in the second tier of the Norwegian league.
Yeah. So things are looking very bright in that respective.
Looking at your club, you have a 9,000 capacity stadium.
Yeah.
You've got 1 or 2 foreign players in the team. They classify you as Norwegian at the moment. It's interesting that you want to play for Ghana.
Yeah, they classify me as Norwegian, but I've always had a dream to play for the Black Stars, and hopefully one day it will come true.
Thinking of you wanting to play for Ghana, we'll be doing a lot more discussion on that, but what would you make of the state of the Norwegian league at the moment? We don't get to see Rosenborg on a regular basis in the UEFA Champions League like we used to. A few other clubs, Valerenga, Mulder, Vikings, and a few other clubs are also staking a claim. How competitive is the league in Norway now?
It's been a rough couple of years for Norwegian football, but now it's looking very, very positive. With, for example, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer from Manchester United coming in, winning 2 straight league championships with Molde, and a lot of young players looking good. The under 21 qualifying for the European Championship among top nations. So things are looking up for Norwegian football, and the level is good.
For youngsters who would want to make the transition into playing in Norway, what is that traction? I mean, if you want to go and play in England, it's because there are so many players who have graced the game over there. What is it about the Norwegian league that would get maybe a youngster from Ghana wanting to come to Norway to play professional football?
Norwegian, both footballers and coaches are very professional and have a very professional attitude towards football. So for anyone to go there, they will develop their professionality, and the league is very physical. So they will get the physical side of the game, and I think it can be very good for young players to go there to evolve as players.
I'm looking at the location of Norway up there on the North Pole. The weather, I understand, can be very, very difficult for people from our parts who want to come and play football there.
Yeah, but a lot of Africans have succeeded in Norway. For example, Anthony Annan, who played for Ghana in the World Cup, has played for 2 clubs or 3 clubs actually in Norway, and done very well. So a lot of African players have succeeded there, and still are.
So for you think that the Norwegian league is still a big attraction for Ghanaian and large African players who want to come there?
I think the Norwegian league can be a very good stepping stone for African players with big ambitions. I think so, yes.
You mentioned, the fact that Norwegian managers are probably some of the best, and they get the best out of players and all. Is it not ironic that you're looking at the Norwegian team at the moment compared to the team that I saw in the maybe late 90s? Norway as a football nation, especially at the national level, seems to have gone down.
Yeah, they had a great century in the 90s with qualifying both for the World Cup in 94 and 98. But last 10 years have been difficult for the national team. With it seems like they're having problems staking out what type of tactics to apply. So and then they lost now against Albania in the qualifiers for the World Cup in 2014. So I think it will be difficult again, but hopefully they can go through, because Norwegian football would benefit greatly from that.
Competitively, looking at the countries in the Scandinavian region, Norway, Sweden, Finland, the Finnish league is not, pretty highly rated, but between you and Sweden, it looks like it's catching up very well with talent from everywhere around the world. Is it like, what the coaches have to offer, like you said? Is it that you play good quality football? Is it that there's a lot of money there that would drive people to want to come and play in Scandinavia?
I think mainly it's the professionality, like I said. It's for any player who wants to succeed in European football, Norway will be a great place to learn the professionality and learn the trade, learn how to train well, stay injury-free, and how to make yourself a better player. So and even though it's a small country, people are fanatic about football, almost like here. So it's a great place to be a footballer, to be honest.
Great place to be a footballer. Let's concentrate a bit on your career, and then we'll discuss a bit about wanting to play for Ghana. Over the last 5 years, you've been playing a professional football. What would you make of your game as an individual? Do you think you've made the kind of progression that you'd want to see in your career? Yeah,
I was at my local club, Brann, which is a big club in Norway, and had a good season there in 2010. But then I didn't feel I was given the opportunities I needed for my own part in 2011. So I became impatient, and I already knew the coach in Sandefjord. He's also from Bergen. So I had a quick chat with him, and then I wanted to go to Sandefjord to play. And last season was very good for me individually. We were the team that let in the least goals defensively, so things looked solid on my own part, and I'm looking to step it up even another level this season.
Have you had any offers, for example, of bigger clubs who would want your services along the line?
I had an invitation from a club in Scotland now in January, but
which club was this?
It was Dundee.
Okay.
Dundee, yeah. But the circumstances didn't allow me to go there, so I think with the progression I made over this pre-season and how things are looking, I think clubs should be on the lookout for me this season, because I expect to do very well.
Footballers are, in as much as they would start their careers with, so-called small clubs, sometimes would want to make the transition from, playing for a relatively small club, moving on to a bigger club, and then another bigger club, and then another bigger club. Over the last couple of years of your career, looking at the teams that you've played for, do you think that has helped to, hone your talents or improve your game?
Actually, I think so, because sometimes you have to take one step back in order to take two forward. And if you're at a big club and you've done well, and then suddenly you feel you don't get the opportunities you deserve, it's time to move on. So the way I've improved my game at Sandefjord, and the way I work on improving my game every day, and by the help of the coach, I feel it's been a very good move for me actually.
You just mentioned your coach, and a lot of players have said that coaches have a very big influence in their careers and how they do progress in their football. Your current coach at Sandefjord, what kind of impact do you think he's made on you, and how has he affected your game positively?
He's very focused on the defenders using the ball to create attacks. So ever since I came there, he's been a mentor for me in that regards. So he's learned me a lot about how to use the ball effectively to create attacking opportunities for the team. So I've made some big steps in that area.
Well, for those of us in the studio who have seen the opportunity of you walk and stand, we know how tall you are, never mind how short you look on the set at the moment. But I'm sure your height plays to your advantage for, set pieces, corner kicks, and all.
Yeah, it gives me a great, I have a great reach, both vertically and up in the air, and defensively and offensively, both defending and on attacking set pieces. So of course that is one of my great strengths, and one of the attributes I think I can contribute if I'm ever to get a call up from the Black Stars.
Yao Ila Amankwa is our guest on the show. He's yearning to play for the senior national team, the Black Stars. Quite a number of players with Norwegian traits have played for the senior national team at one point or the other. Adam Larsen Kwarasi is one who would readily come to mind. Well, competition for the places in the national team is getting keener and keener. We're going to go for a very short commercial break, and when we do come back, he'll tell us why he wants to play for Ghana. You're still live on Joy Sport on Multi TV. My guest is Yao Ila Amankwa, who plays for Sandefjord in Norway. He wants to play for the senior national team of Ghana. That's the Black Stars. In the last 24 months, we've had Adam Larsen Kwarasi coming from Norway to stake a claim for the goalkeeper's position in the national team. May he just be another player who would come from Norway to play for Ghana. Yao, at what point did you decide that you would play for Ghana instead of playing for Norway?
Actually, I've had the dream for quite a long time. We stayed here for 1 year in '97, my entire family, from the summer '97 to the summer '98, and I had the chance to watch both Kotoko and Accra Hearts of Oak, and I also had the chance to watch the Black Stars on TV, and I understood how big the Black Stars are over here, and that sparked the dream that one day I would progress to play for the Black Stars.
And there was no time Mommy also decided that my son would play for Norway?
That's my dream, is to play for the Black Stars. So regardless of what anyone else will say, that's my ultimate goal.
Okay, so that has won in that regard, but that's a family thing. You sort it out.
Yeah.
Looking at Ghana football, I mean, from 1997 till now is a very long time. That's about 16 years down the line. Yeah. What do you make of the Ghanaian game?
Like last World Cup, they advanced to the quarterfinals. Should have been semi-finals, of course, and that's very impressive. And on Sunday I was in Kumasi watching the national game against Sudan, and was again very impressed by the Black Stars and the way they played. So, but still, I feel I can make a contribution to the team if I'm given the chance.
Are you attracted to Ghana because of the players that you see there, because Ghana has made it to the World Cup? What is it exactly about Ghana that attracts you to want to play for Ghana?
Yeah, exactly the things you mentioned. The level they show every tournament, and especially what they showed last World Cup, and the players they have with big international stars like Solomon Tari and Asamoah Gyan. So every day at training, every day I'm working, I have it at the back of my mind that hopefully the GFA will take a look at me and give me the opportunity to play for the Black Stars.
You play as a centre half,
yeah,
more or less, and with the national team at the moment, there is a lot of competition for places in the team. It's not going to be that easy for you to stake a claim for a position in the squad at the moment.
No, it would definitely be the biggest challenge of my career so far, but it's a challenge I would be very honoured and very fired up to take and to prove myself.
Beyond just talking to us, have you had any chance to speak to? I mean, there are so many Ghanaian players; it's practically impossible to be keeping tabs on every single player around the world. But have you, perchance, spoken to anyone in official capacity? Our coach has been doing some travelling in the last 2 years to probably pass by in Norway to see what you're doing with your club.
I've had talks with representatives for the GFA, and they have told me they will monitor me for the next couple of months. So hopefully they get a chance to watch me in action, and I will do everything I can to make sure that they are impressed.
When they told you that they were going to be monitoring your progress at your club level, did that give you any motivation to step up your game?
Definitely. That's a big. Of course, things like that will motivate you to step up the game even more. Even though for the entire preseason I've been going at it very hard, making the most of every training session and every match, but knowing that people like that are monitoring you will, of course, give you even greater motivation.
You just mentioned that you were in Kumasi to see our game. What would you make of the two central pairing we used on the day? Isaac Vossa, he plays in Austria, and John Boy, who plays in France. I mean, these are two very accomplished players in their own right, and it will be up to you to try to unseat one of these guys. Yeah,
definitely. I was like the entire team. I was also impressed by the centre backs, and especially Isaac Vossa, who I've not seen him on too many occasions, but he looked like a brilliant player. So, but I still think over the run of a playoff and a tournament that I could play a part and make a contribution to the team.
Playing a part and making a contribution, it's not going to be easy. There are so many players who are still knocking very hard, at the doors of the team.
Yeah.
What different thing are you bringing on board? Should you ever be called up? Is it going to be the advantage of your height? Is it going to be the advantage of how, exceptional you are on the field? What is it about you that would make you a better player over another call-up?
Of course, like you mentioned, I will bring a physical side into it. For some matches demand that in terms of long balls being played into the area, into the defense. So I will bring that and maybe bring some complementary skills to what are already in the team. So I think in the air I would make an big contribution, and also my aggressiveness and choices on the ball could benefit the team.
What about our game style? I mean, countries play in a certain way because they are blessed with certain kinds of players. From what you saw on Sunday and from what you've been monitoring over the years, what do you make of our game style? Do you think it's a system or a pattern that you can easily fit in if you ever get a call-up?
The attacking style is a bit different to what I'm used to and to Norwegian football, of course. But defending is the defending and the way the defenders were moving the ball is very similar to what we try and do at home. So defending will always be about blocking your opponents from scoring goals, and so when it comes to the defending part and being a defender in the Ghana team, I think my work tasks would be pretty similar to what I normally do at my club.
In recent times, we've had Adam Kwarasi also coming in incidentally, also with a Ghanaian mom and a Ghanaian dad, and a Norwegian mom, come into the team. I don't know the kind of, rave reviews that are passed about him in Norway, but getting the opportunity to play for Ghana, has he, made a lot of other Norwegians take interest in what he does, as a footballer playing for a country like Ghana that they may not be too familiar with?
Yeah, but I think Ghana impressed everyone in the last World Cup and really opened people's eyes in regards of that they are a great team. So, like when Adam was going for his debut against Brazil, people were following him and the news coverage was good. Of course, playing Brazil will always give you that.
That's right.
But, and the media covers his every move for Ghana, and normally people will know how he performed and how the Ghana team did with him in it.
Let's still stay with the squad and like we were looking at earlier on, with the number of players that we have scattered around the globe. It's almost very difficult, for a player who is not playing with a well-known club to get a certain level of attention. Yeah. Obviously, if you're playing for Manchester United, everyone would get to see you practically every day or every week. Do you think that might just be a challenge for you in Ghana? We get to watch the English Premier League, we get to watch highlights of the other matches here and there, but we probably don't get to see too much of the Norwegian League or what happens in there. Do you think that might just make it a little difficult for people to really get to know who you are?
Yeah, of course. That's Ghana is here, and Norway is a very long way from here. But ultimately, it will be up to the coach to research what talent is available and what players he feels will make up the best squad and the best team going forward. So for my own part, all I can ask for is for them to take a look, and hopefully I'll make an impression on them.
I'm told you are a cousin to Emmanuel Frimpong, who got his first cap for Ghana just a few days ago. What has he been telling you?
No, we actually met him at the airport on the way home, and he was, of course, excited to make his debut. And I've discussed the team with both him and Adam earlier on, and he's telling me that it's a great crowd to be in. It's a great team to be a part of, So only positive things really, and of course he's energized by being able to make his debut now over the weekend.
For a player like Frimpong, I mean, he's had the opportunity to play for England in the junior teams and decided to play for Ghana at the senior level. Was there any point in time where you were being courted to play for some of the junior teams of Norway, for example?
Yeah, I went for an assembly a very, very long time ago, but I was unfortunately injured before the matches came up. So else than that, I've never played for the national team or the junior team.
And for Emmanuel, with what he's been telling you of the national team, moving back and forth. I mean, like you said, traveling from Norway to Accra. I don't know if there are any direct flights from Accra to Norway, but you have to come to maybe a third country and all that. Are you prepared for that kind of challenge, moving up and down anytime you get a call up?
Yeah, well, given the chance to play for the Black Stars, I would go to the moon if I had to. So those things are merely even a thought in my mind. Those things would solve themselves.
That shouldn't be a challenge.
No, not at all.
Language is very important. You speak very eloquent English, and we tried doing a few chi before we started the program, and it wasn't that bad. If you ever get a call up, it looks like you would fit in with the lads very well.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not going to say I can talk chi fluently, but I understand. I can understand a fair bit of chi, and I'm always trying to learn when I'm in Ghana. I'm always trying to pick up on different things. So every time I go back home, I know a little bit more. So if I were to be given a chance or a call up, then I would certainly improve my chi even more. To be
language has got to be very key if you ever get a call up, because we have. If you've lived in Ghana, you'd get to know that there are people from various tribes who speak various local dialects, and with most of our foreign players as well. I mean, they've played in a first, a second, or a third country, end up speaking so many different languages. But probably apart from you, Adam, and Anthony, and not too many of our players can speak in Norwich. So maybe everyone can speak English with you. You might have to learn very fast.
Yeah, I would have to, but like I said, if I were to be given an opportunity, I would make the most of it in every regard. So that would be a part of it as well.
For those of us who have followed the sport for quite a while, we're told that footballers have their own language, so that even if they get to, play for a club, where the coach barely speaks a word of the language that they speak, they have their own way of understanding their colleagues and understanding what the manager is trying to say. Are you prepared for all that?
Yeah, like you say, football is a language of its own. So whatever the tactical side of it, the coach will try and tell you. You will always try to use what you know about football already and implement that in what he's saying. And then when you're on the pitch, it's the football is the same even if you're in Norway, if you're in Ghana, if you're in anywhere. It's of course the styles are different, but I don't think that would be a problem.
You don't think that will be a problem? We're having a discussion with Yao Ila Amankwa, who plays in Norway. He plays for a club called Sandefjord, and he is looking to be lacing up his boots for the senior national team, the Black Stars, if he gets a call-up to play for the national team. Players are knocking very, very hard on the doors of the team. It's giving the coaches a lot of a headache, but hey, that's what competition is all about. If you give other players the opportunity to prove themselves, and they can also show to the world that they have what it takes to play at this level, then all well and good for us. I would want to believe you do a lot of talking to someone like Adam, obviously, because of where you find yourselves, or you probably get to speak to him maybe a few times as and when the opportunity presents itself. What has he been chatting about, with you as and when you've gotten the opportunity, to speak to him about getting to understand the culture in which we're playing, our psyche when it comes to playing football matches, how we approach games and all. Obviously, it might just be slightly different from where you're coming from. Has he been telling you anything in that regard?
I've not been talking to him really that often, but I had a chat with him. We met up 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then I asked him about the team, about the culture, how it was for him coming into the team, and he said it's always different coming from Europe, being half Norwegian. You don't know the language, but he said the team had welcomed him in a great way, and then he felt very at home among the boys. And also Emmanuel told me that the boys really liked Adam, and that he's settled in very well. So, and then he said, apart from a couple of language issues in the beginning, you just have to let the football do the talking, and that's what I'm looking to do.
I'm wondering what kind of language difficulties he had, because I've spoken to Adam a few times. He speaks very good English, just like you do, but I'm sure for him the challenge will be the same like yours, because you spend a greater part of your life living, outside the shores of Ghana, and even though you might understand a few things, it's very difficult to say more than a word or two.
Yeah. To be able to speak fluently, it would of course be an advantage to speak Chi every day. So, but as long as you can understand the footballing directions and commands, and understand what is the baseline of what is being said in the dressing room, I think you'll be fine.
You mentioned this thing with Adam that is catching my attention as well. Adam he's been very good for us since he got the opportunity to play. Competition is very keen in the goalkeeping arena. In the last few matches, he's been, dropped for whatever reason. Someone is playing ahead of him now. When you look at all this, and you see the kind of competition that is being created by the current coach, it should give you a good feeling that if you ever get a call up, then you're also going to be given a very good chance to prove yourself.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for, to be given a chance, and I believe I can make an impact, and then it's. If I get that chance, it's up to the coach and the crew around him to make their decision. So that's really all I'm looking to do.
Yuma went through your cousin. Yuma went through a very long paper process.
Yeah.
Just for him to be cleared by FIFA, the English FA, Norwegian, the Scottish FA, and all the football associations that fall under the great Britain and umbrella. I'm sure that now that you've decided that you'd want to play for Ghana, you would have started doing all that paperwork by now. I'm not too sure whether you're allowed to have dual nationality. You've got to decide at some point that this is who you want to play for.
Yeah, those formalities I've not really looked into, but if I were to get the call up, we would make it happen. I think we would make it happen.
I'm sure you're going to be getting your dad in pretty shortly.
Yeah, we would.
And I would not be surprised if Dad has already started doing the paperwork. FIFA these days asks for document after document after document anytime you would want to make that switch. So, it's up to Miao and his family to get all those things probably sorted out, and then hopefully he'll get to play for the national team. Let's go for another round of commercials. We'll be right back. We're in the final leg of the program. Yao Ila Mankwa is my guest on the show. He plays in Norway. He plays for Sandefjord, and he wants to get a call-up for the senior national team, the Black Stars. Well, obviously, that would fall in the purview of the technical team in charge of the squad at the moment, and it would be based on what he does at club level, and chances are that he would get a call-up to the squad. You are the captain of your team. It doesn't come very often to be skippering a top side in Europe.
No, it's. I'm very proud to be named the captain for this season. So it gives you that extra motivation in front of every match when you put on the armband. You have to take responsibility and perform, and that suits me well.
For most European coaches, I mean, they look beyond age when it comes to having a leader for the team. They look for exceptional qualities like, how strong and how competitive you are on the pitch and all that. What is it that your coach would have seen about you to make you the captain of the squad?
It's difficult for me to assess exactly what the coach has been on the coach's mind in making that decision, but when I'm playing, I'm a commanding player. I'm loud, you will hear that. I will be making commands to keep my defense tight and keep the team doing the right things around me. And then have a physical presence about me that may be a part of that. But as I said, it's difficult for me to assess exactly what's been on his mind.
At no point did the coach tell you, I have seen this and that about you, and I think you would be a perfect captain for me.
Yeah, I've been told that I'm a leader both in the dressing room and on the pitch. So I guess that's the main reason why I'm now the captain of my team.
With your physique, you will be very competitive on the pitch when you step out there. Does that influence your game in any way?
Like
when you come up, for example, playing in defense with the kind of physique you have, coming up against very big strikers, for example, that should play a very good part in your game style.
Yeah, of course. Some matches are very physical with a lot of balls coming in the air, and I would have a lot of work to do. But I normally have met players that are even bigger than me, but I have the timing in the air to make every duel go my way, and of course you have to apply a little different style to in regards to what opposition you meet, whether it's a big strike or a small and quick one. But there will always be situations like set pieces and offensive set pieces, not to mention that I will have a big advantage of my height and physical side.
You've got your own fair share of goals for almost all the clubs that you've played here. For a defender, obviously you don't score too many goals, but you've got your own share of goals. And for a defender, what does that do for you, stepping out on the pitch and scoring goals?
Of course, that makes you an important player for the team, because anytime the team is pushing for a goal, I've even been put up as a striker and as a target man in the end of matches if we need a result. And on set pieces, I know what things to do to try and make some dangerous situations and hopefully also some goals.
Mentioning of being used as a target man, it tells us that you can play in other positions either than a centre half.
No, the target man is when we've been chasing for a result. I've gone up to win the balls and keep it, get it down the ground and play it again. But mainly I'm a centre back.
Yeah, but do you see yourself maybe trying other options on the pitch rather than being a typical centre half?
During a match, I can make an impact coming up on top if the team is chasing a result. But my speciality is defending and being a centre back.
I'm asking you this question because even with the big clubs these days, you would find a player who says, my speciality is playing in X position, Y position, but you sign for a new club and the coach says, hang on a minute, I think that with maybe your kind of physique and your kind of game style, you'll be better off playing, let's say, in a different position. Yeah. Are you prepared for something like that in the course of your career?
Yeah, I will always try and help the team the best way I can. And last season there were some matches where near the end we were in lack of a goal or two, and then I was moved up and to create different type of attacking play and create a little bit of stir in the opponent's defense, and it gave results. So, but as for starting matches, I think I'll keep to centre back.
You want to play as a centre half? That's fine. That's fine. This issue has come up with. I'm sure you'd have heard of Kevin Prince Boateng by now.
Yeah.
He got a few games for Ghana, made a name for himself at the World Cup, and it's been very difficult to get him to play for the national team for reasons that he wouldn't, want to talk too much about. These days, there are players knocking very hard on the doors of the senior national team, but people are a bit skeptic about that. Do you want us to believe that if you ever get to play for the senior national team and you make a name for yourself, you wouldn't say goodbye to us? You would still want to stay and play for as long as you're playing active and professional football?
Yeah, if I were to be given that chance, that would be one of the proudest moments of my life, and I would of course have to prove myself and work extremely hard to keep getting call-ups for every match and training camps. But if I were to be given the chance, I would keep it for as long as I possibly could. Definitely.
Let's do a few, light-hearted stuff before we round up with this discussion. You said Dad met your mom in Norway, coming over there to school. What kind of dad is your father?
Oh, he's been very helpful for me, both as a person and as a player. And with my mom coming from Norway and my dad being a Ghanaian and a Shanti man from Kumasi, I think I've had some great input from both sides.
Different cultures?
Yeah, different cultures, and he's taught me a lot.
Your dad comes out to me like an academic. Yeah. His son is a footballer. What does mommy do?
She's also an academic.
Oh, so two academics with a footballer as a son. There was no point in your career where they said they wanted you to probably become a professor or a doctor or a lawyer or something like that?
I don't know, maybe, but I've always had the aim of maximizing my potential as a footballer. So that's my main focus until the day I retire, actually.
And then you decide on what to do after that?
Yeah, and then I don't think it will be a problem after that.
What do you do when you're not playing football? What do you do?
I just spend time with my friends and now I'm living in near the Oslo area, so all my friends home in Bergen, I keep in touch with them online and on the phone, and spend time with my teammates and just eat good and do the things I have to do to be prepared for the next training and the next match.
Eating good. What Ghanaian foods do you eat?
I'm a big fan of fufu with light soup and chicken. I actually just had it before I came here. So.
Well, your dad is an Ashanti, so it's understandable why you would eat that. Yeah. Footballers today are paid, unbelievable wages, buying flashy cars, beautiful buildings and all. Are you interested in that kind of lifestyle too?
No, like I said, my goal and my focus when it comes to football is to maximizing my own potential, doing everything I can to become as good as I can be. So I don't really get into all of the other things. But of course, for players who perform at high level should be able to reward themselves in whatever ways. But as long as you don't lose focus on the important things.
Any siblings?
Yeah, two smaller sisters.
Oh, okay. And are they in Ghana or are they with you in Norway?
They're living in Norway as well.
And what do they do?
They are both students.
Okay. Yeah. How old?
One is 19 and one is 16.
Okay. So big boy, taking charge of two little sisters, just guiding them along the line. Did they also come home as and when the opportunity presented itself?
Yeah, they were with me when we were staying there for 1 year in '97. All of them came, and one of them actually came here last summer to work in kindergarten. So they are very familiar with Ghana, and Ghana is, I think, feels at home to them as well.
So what do they say about Ghana anytime they're in Norway? Have you had the chance of going to Kumasi?
Yeah. I was there now to watch the national match.
No, like beyond just going there to see the national match. I mean, seeing extended family, dads,
most of my family are living in Kumasi, so I always go by the our family house there, and there will always be some of my family around, and then I'll call the rest so I can meet them all at the house. So Kumasi is definitely an important place to go whenever I'm in Ghana.
So have you had the chance of going to Menchia Palace, for example?
No, not yet. Not yet.
maybe Daddy will take you there, along the line when you do have the opportunity. Yeah. Though, but we're running out of time. Any final words you would want to share with us before you take leave of us?
No, I'm going home to Norway tomorrow, so I'm just gonna work extremely hard, and hopefully the GFA and the national team coach will have a look at me and decide on whether I can make an impact for the national team or not.
Well, we will do a bet to talk about you, and you would have to prove yourself on the pitch for the world to know whether you're good enough to play for the Black Stars. Yeah. But it's been a pleasure having you in the studio. Thank you so much. And for you, a viewer out there, that was Ayao Ila Amankwa, Ghanaian father, Norwegian mother, plays in Norway. He is staking a claim for a spot in the national team. Kwesi Appiah, Maxwell Kunedu, and the entire technical team of the Black Stars. Over to you. Have a look at him and see whether he's good enough. We want the best available players to be playing for the Black Stars, and if there's a player who is willing to play for the team, I think it's only fair that he's also given a chance to prove himself. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.